Let us talk about 5 things that have insane power to make you a bad parent. Now, bad means different things to different people, but I would like to think, and in the context of this video, I'm just gonna say that bad is anything that makes you undermine your child's trust in themselves, their self confidence, their self love, and all that jazz. So, I got a small list here, and I'm gonna be reading off of it a little bit. The first thing is unhealthy lifestyle. We are all aware that people are healthy and happy in different at different sizes, at different shapes and sizes, and that is absolutely true. But how do you feel inside your body? Do you have energy to run after your children? Do you have the energy to just get up and just go and play football? Do you have the energy? I'm not talking about in the evening after work when you've exhausted yourself. No, on a random day when you don't have work to do or so much to do. How much energy do you have? That's how you can rate if you're healthy or not. And sometimes we've been so used to not having energy that we're not aware that we do not have energy. So I remember a time when my daughter was about 3 years old. I was at my parents' place for a few months, and then I was sitting on the staircase. There's a large terrace. I don't know how you call it in English, but yeah, it's a large space, and there's flowers and plants and everything. And my daughter was playing, and I was just sitting there, just being with her. And I just suddenly noticed that I had no energy, like zero energy. I don't remember if she wanted me to get up and play football with her or something like that, because at that point in time, she really, really loved football. She still does, but she was obsessed about football at that time. So I just felt so heavy, so heavy. And I think at that moment, I was even like a few pounds lighter than I am now, which says a lot. It says a lot. It's not about the number that you see on the scale. It's very important to assess how you really feel inside of yourself. Like how easily can you get up from your chair? How quickly do you get tired when you just take a short walk? Can you play with your children? I think that's a really, really good test to see if you have energy. Of course, you would probably not be able to run as fast and as much as they can, because my daughter, for example, can run for like, I don't know, 2 hours, like nothing is happening. But anyways, I'm sure you get my point. How much energy do you have in your body? It's very, very important. And you might think, okay,
What does my energy have to do with my parenting?
when you don't have energy, when you're tired, even if you don't realize that you don't have energy, it's very, 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 very easy. It's much easier to get irritated. I know this, everything I'm saying is based on my own experience. This might not apply to you. So listen at your own discretion. I think, and I'm sure there's science behind this, that the less energy you have, the easier it is for you to get irritated, the easier it is for you to just snap at your children and not be able to just be your cool, amazing self that you are in your mind. I, in my own experience, have seen that the better I feel, the better parent I am, the better human I am. So I think energy, there's a correlation between high energy and amazing parenting. Because, for example, let's take the example, like this random example of someone who comes home and they're exhausted and they're in a bad mood and they're very, very tired on top of the exhaustion. I know it's the same thing, but let's just say they're extra tired on top of the usual exhaustion that they have because of something else that happened. And let's add to this that this person doesn't feel good in their body. I'm not talking about um mirror, I don't like what I look like in the mirror. No, it doesn't feel good in their body because of the low energy that they have, maybe because of the food that they're eating that is not really helping their body. And then something happens in their home with their child. How likely do you think this person will be able to react in a way that is appropriate to the situation and not overreact. I'm pretty sure we would all agree that this person is more likely to overreact or be unable to deal with the situation like it should be dealt with because of how they feel. I know that was a long example, but I just want to say that I think everyone should try this for themselves, because you don't know how low your energy is until you start having more energy. This is what I've experienced in my life firsthand. You really do not know how low, how bad you feel in your body until you start having more energy. And having more energy, of course, I don't want to get into that in this video, but having more energy, it begins with breathing, like breathing exercises. Just do some breath work and feel like instantly you have more energy. Hydrate your body, grounding, walking, stuff like that. Anyways, I don't want this video to be too long, so let's get to the second point. Number 2 is emotional depth. Emotional depth. What I mean by this is there are some people, and what I mean by some people, I know I've been saying what I mean so much in this video. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, a lot of people, most people actually, are dead emotionally. And what I mean by dead is they're not actually dead in the sense that they have no ability to feel their emotions, but they've set up their lives and their routines and rituals in a way that they're completely disconnected from how they feel inside. Like their body can scream like, hear me, I need a nap, I need a nap, I need a small nap. They won't hear it because they're too distracted. They are numbed out by different things. We all know how we numb ourselves. But these persons, which I used to be and I sometimes still am, are unable to connect to the messaging that their body is sending to them or their intuition. So they're kind of emotionally dead. And distraction is one of the main foundations for emotional death, because if you're not distracted, it is impossible to not hear what your body is telling you, to hear what your mind is telling you. It's impossible to not hear your thoughts think when you're not distracted, which is why we distract ourselves, because we will hear that stuff like,
this life you're living is not your life. It deserves better than this. Maybe it's time to leave that relationship. Maybe I should actually learn how to treat my body better.
and stuff like that that we don't really want to hear. And so because we're so lucky and cursed to have so much access to technology and distraction, and we've never had this kind of level of access to entertainment before, and I think we're still learning to adapt for the most part. So we use it as a means to distract ourselves, and we become emotionally dead. And as a parent, you cannot be emotionally dead. You can be, of course, but for your children's well-being, you don't get to be emotionally dead, because there is a constant communication, unspoken communication that goes on between children and their parents. And if you're too distracted to be able to hear your own thoughts and hear your own emotions and feel your own emotions, how will you perceive this communication that is coming at you from your child? And also, on the other hand, what kind of communication are you sending back at your child? Are you telling them, you're not worthy of my time and attention, I don't really care about you that much? That sounds maybe harsh, but in actuality, I think that's what our children think when they try to talk to us and try to show us a drawing and have to call us 15 times before we turn around and say, yes, what? You probably get what I mean. Point number 3 is trust issues, an inability to trust. And this can be broken down into 2 parts, like lack of trust in ourselves and lack of trust in our child. I'm just going to briefly touch on both of them. Lack of trust in ourselves has the potential of making us a bad parent, because we have inner knowing, we have inner wisdom inside of us, we have a spirits, even though there is a lot of things that are happening in our world that are attacking our ability to connect to ourselves. We have a spirit, we have inner knowing, we have inner knowledge. Aside of the books and the podcasts and all the information that is around us, we have deep inner knowledge and knowings. Okay, so if you do not trust yourself, if you have an injured intuition because when you were young, you were shown that you can't trust your own self. For example, when you're crying, which is why I always say, don't tell a child to not cry, even if you find the situation absolutely stupid. Never say it. Don't even feel it because they can feel you. But anyways, if you do not trust yourself, you will receive messages about how to handle situations, about things that you should do, things that maybe your child needs. Let's say, for example, that, okay, this is a harsh example, I'm sorry if this offends anyone. It's not my intention, but I think it best illustrates this lack of trust thing. Okay, so I have witnessed many times, I'm sure I could count, but it's countless times, mothers in front of daycares crying in their cars or wiping the tears while they walk away because their intuition is telling them that leaving that baby who can't even talk yet in the care of strangers, because we like to kid ourselves and call it what it really isn't. But what it really is, that we all know and we refuse to acknowledge, is that these people are strangers. They are strangers. And her intuition is telling her that this may not be right. This may not be the time. Or whatever her intuition may be telling her. Or I'm not ready to go back to work, but I really have to because I have to make money. And all these things. And maybe her intuition is trying to tell her, look, there's another way. Let's not do this. Just take this child out of the daycare and we will figure it out. I kid you not. You can Google, YouTube, stories of people that had an aha moment and decided to just go full crazy with their aha and were able to figure things out for themselves. And here we're talking about life. I know a lot of people might say, you don't know what it is to need the money for whatever. I know. But this is just an example for trust. Yet you will not trust that what your intuition is telling you is right. You will push through the conditioning because this is what everybody does. So my intuition cannot be right. This is just the fear. And there's a difference between being afraid and having thoughts arise from fear and having inner knowing. It's very, very different. And the less distracted you are, the better you will be at telling the difference. Anyways, so that was my example of lack of trust on the side of the parents. On the side of the child, a lot of parents, I witness it every day, like the playground is one of the best places to see this. Parents don't trust their children. They do not trust their children, even for the simple, stupid things like climbing on something at a playground, which is a playground for the child's age and is perfectly adapted for their age. We don't trust our children. And why we don't trust our children is because we don't trust ourselves. And it's very important that we are able to trust our children and that our children can perceive that and feel that we trust them, because it's what gives them the strength to go and explore. Because exploration is how we discover things, you know? It's not because they're just digging through the sand that it's some worthless, stupid activity. You have no idea how many connections are being made in their brains just from digging the sand, and the stuff that they're understanding just from digging the sand. It's not because it's not written on the board somewhere. Okay, physics class. When you dig sand, this happens, that they're not learning. Children learn by playing. And we need to learn to trust our children. If a child is climbing on I don't know how they call it in English. Let's say a ladder, not a ladder on a construction site, at a playground, and there's plenty sand beneath this ladder. Like, trust them that they can see, they've assessed what is happening around them, and that they've seen how far they're going, and they Trust them because they trust themselves. If you don't trust them, they will learn to distrust themselves, and that is the last thing that we need. Like, just look at us. Look at us. Look at us, grown adults. We don't trust ourselves. If you don't believe me on this, I'm just going to ask you a simple question. If you don't believe me, have you had an idea of a business, for example, that you've wanted to start for the last 2 to 5 years, maybe 10? Have you talked yourself out of this idea? Because nobody does that, because you don't know anyone who's done it before. Or maybe it will work for others, it won't work for you. If you answered yes to any parts of this question, why is that? You don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself. And that we don't want our children to have to go through the same mindset issues that we are going through. We don't want that. Anyways, point number 4 is, I like this one. People pleasing. People pleasing will absolutely make you a horrible, horrible parent. I am saying this for experience. Like, all these points I came up with because I just was dissecting my own life. That's how I came up with them. Oh my God, this week is insane. Okay, so point number 4 is people pleasing. It's my favorite. And actually, all these points I came up with them from dissecting my own life. People pleasing is amazing, I swear. It will make you do things to yourself that you never thought you would do. It will make you act in ways and say things that you don't believe in just for people to like you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And can you see how being a people pleaser in your own life already is not helpful, and how if you are a parent, you add another layer on top of you, the mother or the father of someone, and you are a people pleaser. You will have the sense that, I don't really, let me give you a real example. Okay. When my daughter was about a year old, no, actually 2 years old, she'd never had chocolate. Like, not, she'd had chocolate. The only chocolate that she knew was a 65% dark chocolate, because that is all that I bought for her. And then we found ourselves somewhere, I can't remember where, but I just know what happened. And then these persons were at this place where I was, and they were shocked that my daughter had never had like the Milka kind of chocolate, which is packed with stuff that you don't really want in a young child's body or even an adult's body. But, you know, this person was shocked. These persons were shocked that my daughter had never had this kind of chocolate. And basically, they were like, my child's gonna miss out and stuff like that. And I kind of bent. I was like, okay, fine, I'll let her have it for this time. But deep within myself, I was like, shoot. And this is not about, I understand, I'm the last person to want to deprive my child of something that would benefit her. But I knew that she just freshly arrived this world. She doesn't know what Milka chocolate is. She just knows chocolate, dark 65% chocolate. That's all she knew. That's all she knew. And then she doesn't feel like she's missing out on anything until you come and give it to her and make her feel like she's missing something because I said no, if I say no. And so I bend. And this is just a tiny example, but there's things that are more grave that I did because of my people-pleasing tendencies and my lack of trust in myself and my desire to be liked and loved by everyone. This will destroy you. And if you get only one thing out of everything that I'm saying, it will be this: get rid of your people-pleasing. You're not helping anyone. You're not helping anyone. Do you know, fast forward a few years, not even a few, maybe 2 years later, these people had, these people had a child in their family, and the mother of this child would not let her have sweets. And they were super proud. And they talked about it with so much pride. I rest my case. Okay. The last point number 5. So, the last point number 5 is this might ruffle some feathers. And if you feel hurt by what I'm about to say, I urge you to lean into what you feel and the thoughts that arise inside you and see why you actually think or feel the way that you feel. Maybe your inner being, your higher self, or God, or your intuition, whatever you want to call it, is actually nudging you towards a better life, or whatever you want to call it. So, point number 5 is finances. Actually, when I first wrote my notes, this was point number 1. But I thought to myself, I'm going to put it last because I know how finances piss people off and hurt their feelings and just make them feel bad. So that's why I put it last. So anyways, finances have the potential to actually wreck your ability to be the amazing parents that you were born to be the amazing mother or father that you were born to be. Finances will wreck you. Because there is no way on earth you can be present, loving, patient, caring, and all the amazing things that we could list if you just got a message that your bill is due tomorrow in 20 days and you know you don't have the money and that you're not going to have the money. You could try, you could fake it. But remember, our children, before they're able to really talk, they do body language. It's unspoken. They can feel that something's wrong with us. And you know, one of the, I don't want to say worst, bad things that we do or that we are in front of our children is this thing that we do. I just got something that shocked me and I feel really, really bad. And my child perceives it and asks me, "Are you okay?" And I say, "Yes, I'm okay." But your child perceived the energy that you're not okay, yet you say you're okay. And then what kind of messaging are we passing? Smiley face means I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I smile. Like, it's some kind of confused shit, some confused messaging that we're passing down. Anyways, it's very important if we're gonna be the parents that we yearn to be. And I'm not talking about, honestly, if you're listening to this video and you don't give a fuck about being a great parent, being amazing, equipping your child, or making sure that your child remains as self-confident as they were when they were born, trusting in themselves, loving themselves, knowing they're amazing and can achieve anything and everything that they want. If that's not you, please, I'm not speaking to you. But if that's you, I'm urging you, and this is me actually talking to my past self, because I finally understood at some point on my journey that money was what was making me a horrible parent. Because I didn't have the money that I wanted, I often felt very frustrated, very anxious, very stressed out. I would hustle. I wouldn't sleep, and not sleeping affects the mood and will make me snap at my child and slap her. I did things that I'm very, absolutely not proud of, that I had to do some crazy amount of inner work to just be able to go to bed at night and not be counting and reenacting the different scenes in my mind of all the horrible things that I did to my child. And I don't want you to feel like that. So I'm telling you, you might have had the feeling already. Do what you need to do to fix your finances. Fix the finances. And do not let your circumstances overwhelm you and make you think that there is no freaking way out of what you are, out of whatever pits you are sitting in, out of whatever well you're sitting in. There's always a way out. But you can't perceive the way out with the way that you're currently thinking, because your current thinking got you where you are. And so you need to fix your mindset or change your story. Like so many amazing people say, you need to change your story. And it's something that I'm currently doing with my life, um, with myself, um, and really fixing. It's not just going to get a second job to fix finances. It's more of a spiritual thing, more of a mindset thing. Because I've had so many large freaking amounts of money come into my life and go out of my life in the space of weeks. And I would sit and think to myself, like, what did I do with the money? It's like money can't sit with me. And I realized that I have to work on my money blocks. For example, I've had, I don't want to sit and try to count this while I'm making this video, because I've had way too many businesses. I've started way too many businesses in my life and failed or sabotaged them as soon as they started to look like they were going to be successful, or as soon as I started to have a lot of money coming in, I would sabotage it. Many of us, unless you were born in like 2% of the 2% families that have the right mindset around things, I'm pretty sure that you have money blocks. Fix them. There's a solution to everything. Like, fix your finances. I know there's some people on the internet saying, oh, this mindset stuff, you can get it for free on the internet. Yeah, you can get it for free on the internet. But remember that your frame of reference will not allow you to see the things that are not within your frame of reference. So if you would meet someone or stumble on a video of someone talking about something that is not within your frame of reference, like how to make amazing tons of money, a technique that actually works, a technique that actually works, you would not follow it. Or you would follow it 90% and sabotage the rest. Or you would follow it and it would work, and then as soon as money would come into your life, it would go out. You would manifest some situation come to you that will have you spend all of the money or almost all of it and find yourself back to your frame of reference, what your subconscious mind believes that you deserve to have. And so we need to change what we think we deserve to have in order to have more. We really need to do it, because I really don't think that our children should have to start where we're starting. Like, they should start on a higher staircase. Because I've met too many people who think that just because their children have a place to sleep and they're fed, they've done like the aha work. Like, what have you done? Your parents fucking fed you and got you through school. For the most of us, if you're watching a video on the internet, I'm pretty sure your parents fed you. You were fed by someone. You've not done anything extraordinary. Nothing. Of course, it's amazing to be fed. But I really think that we need to do better than their parents did. But it seems like we're going backwards. And yeah. Whew. So anyways, those were my 5 points. There's probably so many more, but those are the five that I found really touch on almost everything, like kind of encompass all that can affect our parenting journeys or our mothering and fathering journeys. And if you have more, if there's something that I skipped on, leave it in the comments. I'd love to learn. I love learning. I love infusing my mind with information and doing my best to embody it. And with that said, let us parent ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves for us first. And our children will obviously benefit from this overflow of well-being, because words don't teach. We don't teach with our words. Children don't understand the words that are coming out of our mouths. They don't listen to that. They listen to our energy. Anyways, I'm so happy. It is my intention that this video will help you, enlighten you, and that you will get something out of this. And if you watched this video up to this point, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.